Hello everyone, and welcome back to Simple English Learning. If you've been studying English for a while, you might have experienced something very frustrating. At the beginning of your journey, progress feels exciting. You learn new words every day. You can suddenly understand a movie scene, a song lyric, or a podcast. You feel motivated because everything is fresh. But then, after months, or sometimes even years, you stop feeling that progress. You still study, but you don't feel any better. You can have conversations, but not with the fluency you want. You can understand some things, but other times you still feel lost. You are not a beginner anymore, but you're not advanced either. You're stuck in the middle. This stage is what many learners call the plateau, a flat period in learning where progress feels painfully slow or even invisible. And here's the truth. Almost every learner faces the plateau at some point. But the good news is this. The plateau is not permanent. It is not the end of your journey. In fact, it's a natural part of learning, and with the right strategies, you can overcome it and move forward to true fluency. So in today's episode, I'm going to explain what the plateau is and why it happens. The psychology of why learners feel stuck. 4 powerful strategies to break through the plateau. And how to keep your motivation alive during this challenging stage. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap to move beyond the plateau and continue growing on your English journey. Let's get started. What is the plateau? In language learning, the plateau refers to the stage where improvement slows down. In the beginning, everything feels new. Learning hello, good morning, or thank you feels like progress. Each week, you can measure your improvement. But once you reach an intermediate level, things change. You already know the basics, so new learning feels less noticeable. Small improvements like mastering phrasal verbs or using articles correctly are harder to see. You are still learning, but the progress is subtle. Think of it like climbing a mountain. At first, the slope is steep. You rise quickly, and you can see how far you've climbed. But then, you reach a long, flat section. You're still moving forward, but you don't feel the height increasing. That flat section is the plateau. Why does the plateau happen? There are several reasons. 1. Diminishing returns. At the start, every new word makes a big difference. But at higher levels, each new word feels less impactful. Learning the word cat is useful. Learning the word photosynthesis might not change your daily conversations. 2. Comfort zone. Once you can communicate well enough, you might stop challenging yourself. You keep using the same vocabulary, the same grammar, the same safe sentences. 3. Invisible progress. Improvements at this stage are subtle. You might be speaking more naturally, but because it's not dramatic, you don't notice it. 4. Motivation drop. Without visible progress, motivation fades. You feel like you're running, but staying in the same place. My own plateau story. Let me share a personal story. When I was learning English, I reached a point where I could have conversations, watch some shows, and read basic articles. People even told me, "Your English is good." But deep inside, I knew I wasn't fluent. I wanted to express myself freely, to understand everything without struggle. I kept studying. But for months, I didn't feel improvement. I was stuck in the plateau. It was frustrating. I even thought about giving up. But instead, I experimented. I changed my methods. I pushed myself out of my comfort zone. And slowly, I began to notice progress again. My listening improved. My speaking became smoother. My vocabulary expanded beyond the basics. That's why I can tell you with confidence, the plateau is not the end. It's just a test. If you keep going, you'll break through. 4 strategies to overcome the plateau. So, how do you break through? Let me give you 4 proven strategies. 1. Change your input. If you're stuck, it may be because your input is too easy. Maybe you only watch English shows with subtitles in your language. Or you only read simple articles. To grow, you need to challenge yourself with new and diverse input. Practical ideas. Switch from graded readers to authentic books or news. Listen to podcasts made for native speakers, not just learners. Watch movies without subtitles or with English subtitles only. Expose yourself to different accents. British, American, Australian, Indian. At first, it will feel difficult. But that difficulty is exactly what pushes your brain to adapt. 2. Push your output. Many learners stay stuck because they keep using safe English. They use the same 501,000 words again and again. The solution is to push your output. Practical ideas. Join a conversation group and challenge yourself to use new vocabulary each time. Record yourself speaking on a new topic every day for 2-3 minutes. Try storytelling. Describe your day in detail, or retell a movie plot in English. Write short reflections or journal entries using advanced vocabulary and grammar. The key is to force your brain to use English in ways it hasn't before. That's how you grow. 3. Set new, specific goals. When you started English, your goal was simple. I want to speak English. But at the plateau, that goal is too vague. You need new, specific goals to guide you. Examples of plateau goals. I want to understand 80% of a podcast without subtitles. I want to give a 5-minute presentation in English. I want to learn 10 new phrasal verbs and use them in conversation this week. Goals give you a clear target and a way to measure progress. And measuring progress brings back motivation. 4. Embrace deliberate practice. At this stage, casual practice is not enough. You need deliberate practice. Focused, intentional training on your weaknesses. Examples. If your pronunciation is weak, spend 15 minutes a day shadowing native audio. If you struggle with listening, do dictation practice with podcasts. If you always make grammar mistakes with articles, focus on that for a week. Deliberate practice means finding your weak spots and attacking them directly. This is how professionals train, and it's how you'll break through the plateau. How to stay motivated during the plateau. Even with strategies, the plateau can feel frustrating. So how do you stay motivated? 1. Track small wins. Keep a journal. Write down what new word you used, what conversation you had, or what podcast you understood better. These small wins add up. 2. Celebrate consistency, not perfection. Don't worry if you're not fluent yet. Celebrate that you practiced today. Consistency is more important than results in the short term. 3. Connect with others. Join a learning community. Share your struggles. Encourage each other. Motivation is stronger when shared. 4. Remind yourself, why? Why do you want English? For your career? Travel? Study? Connection? Write down your reason and look at it whenever you feel stuck. Conclusion. The plateau is not a failure. It's a natural stage in your English learning journey. Everyone goes through it. But the learners who succeed are the ones who keep going. Remember the 4 strategies. 1. 2. Push your output. 3. Set new, specific goals. 4. Embrace deliberate practice. And remember, motivation may fade, but habits will carry you forward. If you stay consistent, you will break through the plateau and reach fluency. So, don't give up. Your English journey is not finished. It's just leveling up. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Simple English Learning. If this podcast helped you, please share it with a friend, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. What strategy will you use to overcome your plateau? Until next time, keep learning smart and keep speaking confidently.